Hello everyone, I am Bronze. So, as you would know, based on the previous video, currently Grab is entered for release, meaning it's no longer in early access, meaning that it's now in the main store, which will attract a bunch of new players. So, that means that a lot of players will try to do editor, become Grab creators, and hopefully get verified and, create good things for the community. But the thing is that a lot of them will likely also be looking for tutorials on how to do the things in Grab correctly, and how to, make things look nice. And, well, the thing is that due to the full release, those tutorials are now outdated. Unfortunately, not a lot of tutorials that have actually even come out, personally. I've looked, to see if anything has existed so I could hone my skills, but I've had to do it myself, and I think I'm confident enough to, try and make a tutorial video so I can assist you guys. Now, of course, I am not going to be trying to do a overly long video. I'm trying to, I do have a life outside of this, unfortunately. Unfortunately, yeah, but unfortunately too. To which I also have to get to. So I'm likely going to be releasing these as like a part to a series. I'll just call it the full release tutorial series, something like that. Something dumb. And yeah, we'll pretty much get onto it. So as you can see, I'm on a base plate in Editor. To go into Editor, which we're just hopping right into it. I'm going to show you how to go in and out of Editor. So normally, when you open up an editor, which you do it inside the main lobby when you create a thing, you have a button here. This is your button to go into player mode. Player mode is what you use when you want to see what players would see the world like in perspective of a player just minding their business. And so you can jump around, do anything you do in player mode. It's all, it's very intuitive. It's just what you do when you play the game. Now, to go into your menu, it's very obvious, it's pretty universal for most games. You just press these buttons, which will go into the menu later. This button, right here, is your delete button. This also segues into your redo and undo button. Undo brings it back, which it's this button right here. You pretty much move your thumbstick here, and then you just kind of press. Now to redo, you press, and then I pressed it twice, so I had to press it twice. But normally you'd only have to really press it like a few times depending on how many things you deleted. This is useful for you if you like accidentally delete something that you weren't meant to and you don't feel like, remaking it. Very simple. I mean, if you've used an art program before, you would pretty much know how to use any of this. And the next button we're going to talk about is this button right here, which we already know what this button does. It takes you to the Oculus homepage. But this button right here is your duplication button. Now, the thing is, when you can't just you can't just select the block and then just press duplicate. That's not how it works. You actively have to be moving the block by grabbing it at some random point on the block, like inside it, or by either resizing it, rotating it, or grabbing it. And then you just press the button, that. Press the button, that. And then you can, do whatever. Very easy, very simple. The editor isn't too hard once you've figured out how everything works on it. And if you look on the community levels, you can see that a lot of people made a lot of great things. So next we are going to be talking about in-game sliders. Oh dang, my menu decided to just not pop up. So before we talk about the sliders, let's talk about level complexity. Every block in the game takes up a certain amount of complexity. Regular blocks take up 2. Crumbling blocks take up 3, which we'll get into the blocks later. But we don't really focus on that. Just keep a watch on your complexity. And so, you have sliders here. We'll just spawn a random block in. And there we go. Position snap is what you use for resizing and moving. So, if we resize it, you can tell that it's inching. it's moving at a specific distance. But if we put position snap on 0, it does that. It's all smooth now. All smooth. You use that for like micro movements. Like I use that for like micro movements whenever I'm doing some kind of like goofy snap. And it's very useful. Why did I delete that? Rotation snap. It kind of works the same as position snap, where it has the free rotate, but then it also has. Oh my god. It has a middle section. Oh my god! Stop spawning! Stop! It has a middle section of 40, which is like those kind of movements, and it has 90, which is like very specific. That one won't do it justice. We're gonna have to extend that. It does that. They're very useful for whenever you're like whenever you need like a block directly straight up, and you can kind of combine it with a bunch of other rotation snaps in order to angle it just correctly enough. And so as you can see, we have the sky color and the horizon color. I'm gonna change the horizon color to another blue. That way you can see it. That is we're gonna define the horizon here. I've turned the horizon black, as, you know, one does, I guess. Yeah, it's black now. So we put that in an out of context video or something. Anyway, so this is pretty much just the sky color. You can change the hue of it by sliding this. I believe red is in the middle, and that goes out to the colder colors. Saturation is just how saturated the colors are. So like low saturation, I'll turn white. High saturation, I'll turn the most the color can be. And then brightness is just, I mean brightness, what do you expect? And so it's pretty useful for whenever you're doing whatever. And this is the sun slider. Now, you obviously know what altitude does. Up and down, up and down. Where's the sun at? Yeah, you can see that little glowing ball there. If you can, I'm sorry. But it's going up and down. Azimuth is rotation of the sun. As you can see, it is rotating. This actually affects the shadows in the game, along with the size of the sun. Now, you can use this mixed with the sky color and the horizon color to make sunsets and block out the sun and whatever. You know, make like a sandstorm looking thing. It affects the darkness, and then what you have here is fog. Fog is what you use when you want to, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's fog, it just makes everything harder to see. Usually people use this mixed with like the load, like high darkness, whatever, to make like horror games. It's pretty useful for if you want to have like an atmosphere, but I wouldn't recommend overdoing it on the fog, because then it becomes a nuisance. So, you actually have a reset the default button here, which actually resets everything to the setting it starts in, which is very useful for if you accidentally messed up on something or you just want to go back to the original sky color. So now that we've covered the controller things and the in-game menu here, now we're going to cover a small section of the since we're going to have to cover more sections later when I can actually display them. We are going to discuss new open save. Now, new is what we use for when we want to make a new map. And then open is what we use when we want to open a map. So we go here. And you can see that, you know, there's a little bit of, you can see that it takes me to the exact same thing because we were already in the world. Save is what we use. So you have to make so for this check mark right here, the OK stamp, which is called a verification check mark, you have to have a title. I don't remember if tags are necessary, but I'd recommend putting it on them so that people can find your levels easier in the community stuff. Creators, which make sure that you read this part, they have to be separated by a comma, and I'd recommend putting a space right next to the comma so that you can have words be well defined, and a description. Now, checkpoints here is how many points in which a player can save their point in the game in case they die so that they don't respawn at that beginning. And delete is where you press this. This cannot be reverted once you actually do it, but you will be given the first warning here, the second warning, which says really, and then if you actually want to do it, you press both of those and that deletes the level permanently from your thing. If you already published a level and then you delete it within the editor, it will be removed from your levels list. So let's say I removed Deserted Skies. If I just decide to delete it in editor, it would be deleted in both my levels, so it's no longer public for viewing because it's now permanently gone. And it's no longer viewable in my editor. So, it's pretty much a decent random guide to a little shortcut that you can make if you decide you want to make like a showcase map and you want to do 100 checkpoints. It's just going all the way to 0 and then 100 since you automatically start at 10 checkpoints. Now, thumbnail, you get a camera here. You can press this button to reverse it to be facing you, and this is my character here. You can close the camera or you can take a picture. This is a retake photo, and this is use photo. Use photo will set it as a, thing. I'd recommend that you have, like, the name of the title or, like, a good-looking scene as the actual thing. But you can do whatever with that. Anything's possible, I guess. So that covers the whole saving thing. And, well, that's really it for this thing. That's all I can really cover as of now. And, well, I'll see you in the next video, which I will be covering the different types of blocks that you can use in the game and how much complexity they take up, along with a few other things, as the update has added a bunch of weird, goofy stuff to the game, which I do want to show you. Anyway, if you want, if I earned your subscription, thank you for subscribing. If I earned your like, thanks for liking. And, well, I'll see you in the next one. Which, honestly, depending on certain things, will either come out today, tomorrow, or somewhere within the week. Since I edit fast, because I don't really edit good. Yeah, anyway, see you guys, have a good one.